Hi, everybody. Kelly here with Zen Planner and Sugarwad. And I am so excited to have our friend Michael here from all the way across on the other side of the world. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are in your business?
Okay, my name's Michael and I run a martial arts school, basically Taekwondo, called Power with Purpose. We've been in the industry for close to 30 years. Wow. We've only been running our own place for probably the last 8, something like that. My youngest son, but my senior student, runs it with me. We're both 16 black belts. We have our international Cookie 1 accreditation, master's degree and examiner's course degree. Not a huge school, about 180 students, and they come and go. We've probably signed up 50 this year, but we've had 30 leave through various reasons, buying homes, moving away, lost interest, whatever. That's pretty standard. Yeah, we've got 4 staff, I guess, and they're part-time. We run classes just about every night of the week and Saturdays, and we're coming up for a grading very shortly. This weekend there's our colour belt grading, and next weekend is our black belt grading. We use Zen Planner for live streaming. We run a YouTube channel. We put everything up there, so we're very much out there, and that's without going into massive details, it's kind of what it is.
Well, I'm going to ask you all the questions to pull out those details. But okay, so you've been in the industry for 30 years, running your business for 8 with your son, which is, I love that. What inspired you to run a martial arts school? What brought you to this?
Okay, so I started in my 20s, and then we had some family issues and problems, and I went away from it. And when my youngest son was about 6, kicking the front fence, flies, and I went, well, I learned how to do that right. I went, it's all right, I know what I'm doing. It's great. And he's now 34. So that's kind of when we started. And I jumped in on the journey with him to go, well, I'll take him, And my thought was, as soon as I start throwing too many kicks, I'm going to be done. But at least he'll be on the way. And, I got fitter and stronger, and I got better at it. And we just, we went from strength to strength. We graded together initially as when we did our black belt. That was great. That was just a day amazing. And then because of his age, I advanced a little bit more earlier. I think I did my 6th Dan of 2019, just pre-COVID, and we were already starting to do our own thing at that point in time. Because we had even when I was teaching for our other school, most places had 15, 20 students. I had 60, 70. Because I've worked for myself my whole life. Since I was 18, I've been a motor trimmer and I've done cars and that sort of thing. So making things work is what I do. Never satisfied with just, I've got 10 students. That's not, no, it's not. You got to have a better way of doing it.
Yeah, I like that. That growth, it's that growth mindset. I think in this industry, in this like small gym school industry, it's dynamic and it's changing all of the time. I am also a gym owner, not martial arts, but functional fitness. And like you, have been doing it for quite some time, but I can say that the evolution from when I opened to now, there have been a tremendous amount of challenges, to include COVID. You mentioned that. How do you pivot and evolve when there's always something shiny and new or something like a pandemic? What types of strategies do you lean on to kind of push your way through?
Okay, so when COVID was coming, just as a good example, we were one of the very few schools that the very first day of lockdown, we had classes because we were prepared. We were ready. We were looking at how we're going to do this. We got up on our YouTube channel, we got up on our social media and said, okay, guys, this is going to be tough, but this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to happen. I think there's a bit of a preset. If I'm doom and gloom and this is the end of the world, the rat's abandoning the ship. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but smart people go, no, this is no good. If you're a quality leader, if you're a good leader, you'll get up and say, we will get through this. And we had a big drop off. We were just on 220 students at that point in time, and we dropped down to 100. And I respect that. Then we came back and we had the second lockdown. I think we got back up to about 190 because they had confidence, came back. We dropped to 150. And so since then, the market's been tougher. We haven't been able to crack that 200 yet, although in one sense we've enrolled 220 people this year. But as I said, there's been a drop off. So if you stay confident and believe in your product, you can sell it. But it's got to be a good product. If it's garbage, they'll work out it's garbage really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you have to have your systems and your operations in place so that you can manage your facility. How do you run your operation as far as your tools that you use? I mean, you mentioned that you're a car guy, so I would imagine that different, but the same. Like there's all kinds of systems and processes that run that engine. Same with the business engine.
Yep. So, okay. Well, for a long time, it's only been Matt and myself. And being able to listen to him was crucial. Young ideas. I'm old. Okay, straight up. There's no two ways around it. So I do get a little set in what I do. And that can prove to be strong in its way. But he will go, we need to do this, we need to do that. Oh, for God's sake, how are you going to do that? And yeah, but we could do, and then we nut it out together and we sort of spin it round. And there are days that I'll go, yeah, great idea. And there are days he'll be going too far. And I'll go, how are you going to make it? No, stop. This has to blah, blah, blah. And he'll go, oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. So I remember being impulsive. And I remember going, damn, I shouldn't have done that. So between the two of us, we make good choices, you know.
Yeah. Experience comes knowledge. And also it's good to have the fresh perspective, I'd say.
Absolutely. His perspective on so many things we do now have panned out.
So who are you working with? Mostly children? Is it across the board, all ages?
We are really unique. There's a couple places that do it, but not very many. Most martial arts schools, martial arts clubs will run kiddies class, teenager class, and then an adult class. We don't. They're all together. They're all in the one room. So I've got mums training with their 5-year-olds, because that's what I did. I've got entire families, mum, dad, kids, and they come and they train. Now, there becomes a very unique balance, because sometimes the parents go, I won't grade without them. And I go, and that's what I did. So I'm not knocking that. But we were very committed, like we would train every day. So you say, well, there's two ways to think about this. You would be better to grade ahead of them, and then you can help teach them and guide them. But I understand absolute thrill of doing a black belt together. And I will hear Matt say, when he talks with clients or whatever, he goes, Dad and I are so close because of training, because of what we've done, because of, and it wasn't always smooth sailing. There were days he hated me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your butt out of bed. We're doing this. I don't want to. I don't care.
Yeah. I like that strategy there. Not that it's a strategy, but so much of small fitness business is community, and like what's more of a community than your family, right? So do you have other strategies that you use to build community? Do you run events or, member engagement inside of your gym? That member experience, we know. You said something at the beginning, way at the beginning, about, we bring in 50, we lose 30, like that consistent churn that happens, right? Like, there's going to be a churn of
absolutely
for various reasons, but that member experience, the first like 30, 60, 90 day touch points, how do you maintain that engagement with your current members to kind of
I understand
that relationship,
Yep. What we found, we can't do old school stuff. We were literally, knuckles on the concrete push-ups, because that was the day. The Grandmaster was, don't show weakness, don't show this, don't show blah, 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 and not knocking it. And there's a few places that still do it today. What we've developed is we have a lesson plan. We have a whole terms lesson plan schedule, and we run a variety of sessions. Now, we still have basic stretching, basic fundamentals, basic kicks, basic block, all of that stuff. But some weeks are a paddle week, so they come in and they're going to kick paddles. And we want speed and height and get your flexibility. And then we have, every second week, we have armor. So they put all their armor on and they do full contact armor sparring. They get into it there. Again, there's still the fundamentals every week. From there, we'll have a kick shield week or a bad week, where this is all about how hard can you hit this. You can absolutely floor it, drive it. We'll do a self-defense week where we're doing grabs and get-outs and throw-downs and a little bit more hardcore, realistic what if the situation was to happen. And then we have board breaking weeks where they come in and you're going to go, so now we're going to, have you put it all together, can you break a board? And most of them are full of themselves and go, yep, a little harder, because that ain't breaking. So that adversity, because we live in going to be an old fogey, a terrible age of self-gratification, instant self-gratification. Get on a game, want to do this, want to do that, come out here and get outside and do something. No, I don't want to. There's that mentality. And you got to kind of play with the kids. So we talk with the parents, and they go, I can't get him off the game, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, bring your laptop to school, bring your tablet, I want to have a look at something. And some do, some don't, some don't. And I go, okay, so don't tell me your password. I want you to put a new password in. What's the new password? Practice my forms first. That is your new password. So when you pick it up and you think that, go practice your forms first, then play your game. And that works with some of them. Some do, some don't.
I love that.
On a different note, the other thing that I would recommend any instructor to do, and I did it late in life, and my son went and did it as well. I have my diploma of counselling and my postgrad diploma of counselling. It took me 4 years to do that, and I did it because I thought, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to get frail. There's no two ways around. I can't do what I used to do. It's not possible, and I know that, and I acknowledge that. I don't spar with them anymore because they're too damn fast and I don't see it coming. So that's the truth. But I thought, well, I'm going to have to sit down nutting people out. It's another, and we've done it all our lives. It's something that we've done. That's been an amazing insight into reading students, adults, kids. They walk through the door and you can pick them when you go, okay, we're going to issue today. And you can almost nut them out before they know it, of what they're doing wrong. It was, if I say it was a drag, it was a lot of work while I was still doing what I was doing. But people turn around and they comment on, again, our insight into how to get the best out of their kids. And it's not essential, but gee, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. And I think that it shows too, like for many people, it doesn't matter what kind of movement it is. Movement is medicine in all ways, medicine for our bodies, for our minds. And so I imagine that as people are coming into class, everybody is carrying a different load from their day or their week, or even just things that are happening in life. I would say that the most successful teacher is going to be the one that can read that room, right? And know how hard to push today, maybe to pull off the throttle a little bit, or like what to say. So that is, I've never, in all my years of doing this, I've never actually talked to somebody who went ahead and educated themselves to be able to more fully be able to serve people in that manner.
Because again, I came from a very rigid background, do it or else, okay? And we had you cop the kick, you cop the hit, and I had a family that was like that. My dad was a no-nonsense guy, like stop your whine and get up. And I still bring that to class. Again, this isn't private information. There's two things that we do with the kids, and it's kind of our credo in a way. And I'll say, if you're having a really bad day, leave the baggage outside. Don't walk through the door with a growl and a frown. Just leave it there. Come in, have a good time, forget about it. And when you leave it out there. Don't take it home with you. Just chuck it aside and somebody else can pick it up and deal. Forget it. So that's the first one. Second one, we have a stage and the kids will stand and they will kick a step. They're not listening, so they've got their head down and they're, So the rule came, this rule's been in for 10 years more. You can't touch my step. Why? Because there's some things in life you just can't have. Get used to it. And of course, the little kids want to sneak a touch in to go, so they go get pushed up. And again, over the decades, because I do counselling with some of my kids, they will come and say, can you have a talk? And so we do it. And I've had kids sitting in there in tears because they've got some, family crisis, and they will look at me with teary eyes and say, I never understood what you meant. Some things in life you can't have, but now I get it. And they thrive for that. I think they thrive for discipline. I think they thrive for, I can't tell you how many times we've done things where I know kids will go to boxing or kids will go to this, and they're unruly kids. And the coach says they're fine, because you don't take these. He doesn't take our crap. They want that.
It's very structured in that square.
Yeah.
Let's pivot to a few things a little bit. I want to talk about social media and your strategies there, how you use it, if you use it. And then we're going to talk about software. We're going to talk about Zen Planner. So talk to me about social media. Is it important for what you guys do? I think for most people it is. It's very rare nowadays that we have somebody who doesn't really harness the power of social media. Tell me about how you utilize it, the strategies that you take and that you employ, and maybe how it's changed too over the years.
Okay, so I didn't do Facebook at all, and I'm very rarely on it these days. And I know that's the oldest medium too, so let's just acknowledge that. So we finally got going, and again, I couldn't remember the year. And we would do posts, and it took a lot of work because you'd be doing video in class, and then you'd be editing it, and you'd be creating it up, and you're putting music to it, putting it up on thing, and et cetera, et cetera. And again, as Matt's got more involved, he's kind of taken that over to the point that he went, I don't want you to do content anymore, it sucks. So I went, and thanks for coming too. Great. I used it more as a tool to inform our students. That was my focus. We've got a grading, here's photos from the grading, blah, 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 blah. I felt it was successful because it would, generate 200, 300 views, whatever. For me, I went, that's pretty cool. He's taken over and he's doing his videos and they're reaching 20,000, like he's just kicking my butt. And again, too old. The content, in my opinion, is if it's not funny, stupid or whatever, people don't want to look at it. And I would never go, I don't understand how that, my phrase is, it's got to put bums in seats. If it doesn't, it's not worth it. But the logarithm, is that the right word to use for, our business on website and on Google is quite high ranking because of what we do. If you don't do it, and I'm not paying for Google ranking, right? You can buy a spot at the top there all the time. We don't, and we are, because the social media. So, and again, he does Instagram, I have that. We do TikTok, I don't do TikTok. Okay. And then what did it used to be called before X? I don't know.
X, Twitter,
Okay, no, I don't have Twitter, I don't do X, but he does. Okay, so it's a free tool to say, look at me, and that's what you've got to have. It's competitive. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that are martial artists and run their own schools, and we have tournaments together, we co-host tournaments together, because you asked about that before too. Events, go back to that if you want. But it's still competitive, and I've lost students to my competitors, and my competitors have lost students to me, sometimes because they move, and you go, look, go see John, because he's got a class out there, you're going to be in good hands, off you go, and vice versa, so it just works that way too. And we do YouTube channel, and I already mentioned
you mentioned your YouTube channel, and that's what kind of why I wanted to talk about social media. I mean, I'm like right in that middle. I started my business when there was no social media, and then social media became very much a thing, and you have to you don't have to embrace it, but if you don't embrace it, you're going to miss out. And what I have found over the years is it's not so much about actual lead generation of that's not why we are consistently curating social media. And same in this business, I'm head of content. So same in our industry on this side, on the software side, consistent branding, making sure that your school is top of mind, so that when somebody does become ready or their child becomes ready and they're like, oh, I saw that, great reel that
whatever it was, absolutely. Even though international and there's lots and lots of people looking at it right across the globe, they're never going to come to us, but it's keeping it in front of people. It's I saw a great little ad the other day where it wasn't an ad, it was just a meme, and the kid says to mum, can we go to McDonald's? And she said, if you can spell it, we can go there. And she said, okay, can we go to KFC? Okay, cool, I'll pay that.
So I have a question. I do have a question, and this is complete, not off topic, but is it possible for a martial arts school like yours? I mean, we talked about COVID, we talked about your YouTube channel, we talked about these virtual classes that you were running, which I think I did the same thing. I pivoted real quickly and went virtual. Obviously, we didn't stay virtual, and everybody wanted.
We did. We are still virtual. We still have.
That's what I was going to ask. So you can reach far more than just the 10 kilometers outside of your business.
Straight up, I've got an inquiry today about a lady asking how much for virtual classes. So there we go. There's instant proof.
Yeah, and therein lies why your YouTube is important and why social media is important, because now you're reaching.
Absolutely. Here's something that is an absolute fact, and you're just missing out. We were running two online classes every week, and that's a general and then an hour after an advanced. So 2 hours. We were doing that twice a week, and then as we get towards the end of the year, students start to want to be more in class because they're building up for a test. So we dropped it to just 1 day a week. And I've got an instructor that comes here. I don't do them because, again, I've got too many things to be doing. I don't do all my classes. I'm not in every place. One of my girls comes along, she runs the class, she does the class, and they're not always huge. They might only be 2-3 students. Sometimes they're 5, sometimes they're 10, whatever. We run during the school holidays, because our school holidays are different to the US. So we have an 8-week school holiday coming up, 10-week school, then 2 weeks off, then 10-week school, then 2 weeks off. So there's this very big round turnaround.
Sure.
And you get there in a school holiday, and instead of having 30 people in the room, you got 3, if you're lucky.
Right.
So you can rock up and be nothing. So you know what? During the school holidays, no classes, no face-to-face classes, online classes only. 40 people in an online class, because they don't have to go home. They don't have to leave. Now, before we do that, let's add to this. And again, to give you guys, so you understand where I'm talking, I'm on the east coast of Australia.
Okay.
And most people are going to know Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, more or less, okay? And they're, I can't do kilometres, 600 kilometres, 1,000 kilometres apart, I don't know, 600 miles. It's a long way. Our last school holidays, this is absolutely, we were at classes, 40 people in the class thereabouts. We had kids in Brisbane, Queensland joining in. We had kids in Melbourne joining in because they'd gone on holidays. We had people in New Zealand. We had people in Sri Lanka. We had people in Canada because they'd all gone on holidays. And if it's in the time zone, if it's close, they might be doing it at 2 PM. I got my students in Sri Lanka saying, I'm staying with my cousins. Can they do the class? Yeah, sure. Let's bring them in. Let's do this.
So insightful, because we are so used to the cyclical holiday schedule, break schedule, school schedule here in the United States.
Yeah.
And so when I think about small businesses, gyms and martial arts schools, I think about it in terms of that schedule. But this is different and very insightful as far as how you schedule. I just had a conversation with a coworker of mine about coming up here. We've got Christmas coming up, right?
Yep.
And so scheduling during the holidays and how you adjust and change your schedule, because it's going to look different with schools either being out or people traveling and all the things. And so I want to learn more about what is that a consistent schedule that all schools are on in Australia?
Yep.
Okay.
Again, it's there's an argument. They just get started in 10 weeks. They've just got started, and then you're having a holiday again. Like there's a break. So there's that. I don't know if there's good or bad. I mean, again, you guys are they're on holidays for close to 3 months, summer holidays. Is that right?
About 8-9 weeks in the summer break. Yeah.
Yeah, and you sort of go, boy, you can get into a lot of trouble at 8 weeks. It's just so bored.
For sure. And actually, what I find at the martial arts schools over here that they do very, very well in the summer time.
Right.
They run camps all day.
Yep.
I mean, kids go and their parents are dropping them off at 8, 9 in the morning.
Pick them up for in the afternoon.
Yep. So I would say that a large portion of revenue is generated by summer camps in that type of industry over here. But I think the scheduling aspect of it and the virtual aspect of it, or even the hybrid.
And it all became because of COVID. And again, we have here we've got an industry called Australian Taekwondo, and that's where we do our insurance. It's a conglomerate. All the clubs, well, any club that's worth its weight will be associated. And we even did a meeting with them where they've got a hold and said, can you join in with it? We'd love to know how you do it, because everybody's struggling. I'm no rocket science when it comes. I struggle with technology on a big scale. But they reached out because they went, you're running classes now? He said, everybody's still trying to get their act together. And of course, some of it left it too late, because I'm using the same system now, the camera that I bought and everything else. I bought 2 of them because I wanted it in 2 different locations, and it got to a point you couldn't buy them. Everything in COVID, you couldn't. If you left it too late, it became really, really hard.
So technology plays a huge role. Talk to me about the software that you use. How do you schedule your you're using Zen Planner for member management.
So I'm using Zen Planner for everything.
you use it for like as a CRM, your CRM as well. Are you on Zen Planner Engage?
No, I don't know. Okay, now you'll lose me. It's okay. Again.
Okay, so
I'm martial artist. Relax.
Yeah. So, well, and I only ask because it went through a name change, but so Zen Planner Studio is our member management that you are using that, and that does so much. Yeah. Yep. And we launched about a little over a year ago, Zen Planner Engage, which is a marketing automation. And
is that the one where you could put your own logo on?
Yeah. Well, you can do a branded app, but it runs as so you can connect your social media. There's automated workflows. So there's lead generation, prospecting, nurtures, things like that. It replaced UpLaunch. We had UpLaunch before.
We probably there's a lot of stuff that I know that we probably use 1/10 of what's available there. And sometimes it is simply that it doesn't work here in Australia. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work.
Right.
And we work around that.
Sure.
I'll give you an example of what doesn't work. Sending multiple texts to a class here doesn't work. Okay. The system can't take it. But I can log into every individual student and send them a text, no problems. But we've had that before. We've had to close a class or do something, and Matt will say, you start at the top, I'll start at the bottom, and within 5 minutes we've sent it to everybody. Okay. So not as good as a bulk hit, but not impossible.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, I always say that we should be focusing on 2, maybe 3 aspects of the software to really leverage to run our business business efficiently and well. What would you say are the parts of Zen Planner that you need for your day-to-day and you can't live without?
I'm going to log in, so it's just easier. Okay. And you know what? The login is 95% successful. Every now and then there's a glitch that it just won't open. Tell me a product that doesn't. Again, I can't change this, and you'll never change this. If ever you're doing maintenance, it's always in our peak time, not yours.
I know, that is true.
What can you do about it? Because you're going to do it in you're going to do it down there. Okay. So, right. Obviously, we do all of the memberships through Zen Planner. So that manages the money. The money comes in, the money goes through, payments are sorted, and then I can sit here on the front screen. I know this sounds like a paid ad, but it's not. I can see what payments are coming up. I can see what payments are pending. I can see what payments are due in the next 30 days. I can see who owes me money, who hasn't paid yet. One-stop shop.
All of the things you need to run your business.
You know what? I don't want to say the most important part, because it's not. I'm going to say I always seem to feel that Zen Planner is a money-orientated thing, which is a very, very good. It's always telling me how to make more money, and there's a lot of times you go, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to charge. Again, it's a cross sword. If you don't make money, you can't do what you do, and if you don't do what you do well, you can't make money.
Absolutely.
So that's the first side.
Okay.
The second thing, now we've customized this very, very heavily to what we want, and that's the other thing that's great. There's a lot of areas that you can add. So I've got a section here called belt breakdown, right? And in
I was
the belt
asking about the belt tracking. That's what I wanted to talk about. Talk to me about how you do your belt tracking, belt breakdown.
So if we go into, again, let's just do this. Don't make me fly it too fast, because I'm looking here now, I can see pay rates, and I can keep a track of all the pay rates of everyone I've got to pay. And so long as they log it, they've got to make sure that on the app, if they're not the instructor, they're not going to get paid. Right? So if you're doing a casual or a takeover or whatever, and they all know that, and they take care of it, that's really, really cool. Now, what we're going to say is in programs, this is really, really, really good. Okay, so we can go into Taekwondo, and we can go into ranks. Now, in ranks, we've got our belt, a test fee, how long it is, how many months before you can test, and how many lessons you must have before you can test. Absolute perfect record of where are they at.
Everything you need.
So long as they mark themselves off on the roll. Now, if the roll don't get marked, you don't get your attendance.
Sure.
And so that's a human error that can come into this. That's, again, anything there. Now, from there, where this just gets, and we've utilized Google Docs and Google Sheets, we go into belt breakdown. Let me just get that, because if I don't have it in front of me, I won't be able to talk about it, and I'll make an error.
You take your time.
So when we go into belt breakdown, we see all our students. If we look all the way through, there's our high greens, our blue students, whatever. We've got them in very unique categories: white belts, yellow belts, blah, blah, blah. If I want to send a communication, I pick on a student, I choose my template. We've had to make the templates. They're not always your guys. That's cool. That's customizing. I look down and I go, we want to invite them to the high yellow belt test. We click on that. There's the format, high name. We got a test on Saturday, November 23rd, 8:30. There's the fee, there's the thing. Spectators are welcome, blah, blah, blah. Click on this link to apply. The link goes to Google Drive. We get a notification coming up, which I've got over there now, Google Forms. On the sheet, we've got yellow belt application. You have a new response. You go and you do it. You've done it this time. So we then have on Zen Planner this Saturday, there is a grading because all your classes get made. And so we've got a general class on a Monday, et cetera, but then you make up an event, or I don't like events for gradings because I want to control it a little easier, but I will go, and again, okay, so we'll go to the shop front again. Better if I do that. Now I can look at today's class and I can see that there's a general class at Toongabbie West. We call them the minions, the little guys. They train with their parents. That's Parramatta West. Then there's an advanced class at Parramatta West. Then there's a tournament class at Toongabbie. Then I'll run the advanced class tonight at Parramatta West over there as well. But we go through, and if we go a couple of days ahead now, there's a Saturday, and we've got all the tests up, and the virtual link is a part of that test. Confuses people sometimes. I think it's a virtual grading, and no, that gives you the link to share with your family.
So they can see.
So they can log on that. If they click on that on their phone, it will take them directly to the live stream. There's no mucking around. There's no jumping between. It's there. So one more thing about social media you have to, again, bear in mind for anybody that does it. I was told this when we first built our website. My son's mother-in-law helped us with that. If you put yourself out there, be prepared to be torn down, because people love to see you fail. They love to tear you down. And one of our gradings is at about 20,000 20,000 views, nothing but negativity. This is garbage. This is terrible. The guy, he should be shaved. Blah, 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 blah. Well, then why's it got 20,000 views? It's 20,000 views of people looking at it, because that's our biggest one. They're not always that big. Some of them are only still 400 or 500, whatever. But that's up there for, we get the views going, wow, I live here, so proud to see my grandson. Right. Yeah, they've never, it's got that. So that's the belt levels, and it's brilliant, because and as soon as they test, you jump in and you add their new belt, you add the fee. I don't make that automatic, because there are times that we have a program here called Active Kids. The government pays you money towards sport. So I've got to take that voucher and take it off the amount and move it around and do what I've got to do. But the tracking, the only thing I would love to see, never going to happen. Okay. Let me just do this real quick so you can see it. So we've got it better. And who knows, one day it might come up. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to go into today's first class. So I don't need to show you the layout, but that's your layout when you're right. Okay, so that's cool. That shows us students, and I can touch on the side of it and get their phone number or their email or anything else. Love to know what belt level they are. Okay. Inside of the staff app. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be there, because I'll do it again and I'll tell you exactly what's there. Yeah. Again. Okay, so we're looking at this and we type on the first girl, we go to her profile. I can see that she's got a 2-time-a-week membership. I can see that she's got an Australian Taekwondo membership. Get payment methods. I don't care what payment. I don't want my staff to know what payment method. That's immaterial to me at that point. Or I can add a membership. Back to that. Sell them something new. Love it. I think that's really cool. And somewhere here, if I go to the edit, now I've got her email address, her phone number, her date of birth, her emergency contacts, all very, very good, all very important. Nowhere does it say what belt she is. Yes. I know you say that it's impossible, but I'm literally writing myself a note right now, because the staff app and member app, actually, there's going to be an update and experience in 2025. And the reason I say that is because people say, well, haven't they got their belt on? And sometimes they come in, they don't. That's not the point. I might be looking at this today, right now, and going, I'll just open that up. What belt is, I've got to go back to the database to go, she's a blue. Right, where is she? On there? No, belt tracking, that piece of our software, is part of what really differentiates Zen Planner from most other MMS systems. And so it seems like it would be intuitive to have that in the staff app, or maybe like a color next to so anything like that. But I will add, if I have to lose anything from here to make that work, forget it. Okay. Not going to happen. Because everything else is really, really good. Okay. Yeah. I just had a conversation with another customer. He's in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's out in Seattle here in the United States. But he said something in our conversation a couple weeks ago about the software being very robust, having so many things, so many more things than he even knows how to use, and how that excites him. And you have the same mindset, because I think about we've got thousands of gyms that are using our software, and it can be overwhelming. Software is not an easy thing to integrate. And so how do you, this is going to sound like a very philosophical question. How do you possible opportunities of what technology and software can provide for your business without allowing it to overwhelm you? Or is it just by nature of who you are? A little bit. Okay. I'm going to say this is going to be really, really weird, because I am extreme in both levels. Yeah. So let's just do me personally. I run a martial arts school. I do all this stuff, and I'm a total introvert. I don't like going out. Okay. I'm not a social person. When the guys say, we're going to go out for dinner, it's like, do I have to? I don't want to go, but I will get up in front of everybody and do what I got to do and be a part of that, and that's just I'm the same. Okay, I get it. So I'm not big on that. I hate change. Right, I despise if I can't buy the shoes that I've been wearing for the last 20 years. I'm really not. I've got to go for a whole different look, and that just does my head in. Without change, well, geez, there'd be hell of a traffic jam, wouldn't there, if the lights never changed? And every time this comes along, you go, there's got to be a better way. I think I'm going to say you get excited, but when you find that, you go, there we go. That's great. And I think it can be hard. A lot of our students are either, again, we're a very multicultural place, a lot of Arabic communities, Indian communities, Chinese communities, Korean, Australian, and English is their second language. That can get a little bit lost in the translation there. But the lady I was looking at one of my students, Chinese lady, and it blew me away because she opened up Zen Planner. It's all in Chinese. So you went, I'm looking at that and sort of, I don't know if it was her app or her phone or whatever, and she was looking at it, and even the Google Doc was, so I went, cool. Yeah. And I'm not, as I said, don't quote me, maybe does it translate? I'm sure it translates, doesn't it? And it was just really weird for me to look at that and go, I have no idea what I would do with that.
No, I get it.
So I guess I've got a lot of good people. You've always got to be smart enough to know when you're done, yeah? And I will give that task to somebody else. And I've got in the whole school and part of my team, one of my guys that runs classes for me is also a computer programmer. He knows the ins and outs of it. And so that's great. Jez, go fix that for me. Look, I've got no idea what I'm looking at. And off he goes. Or other friends, you'll turn and say, I just don't understand this. Anything, keyboards or I mean, even my keyboard, I went and learned how to speak Korean a while back. I'm not good at it, but my keyboard is English. It's English and Korean keyboard, so it's got the and you work it, you do it, you do your best to embrace it. There are days you've got to know when to walk away and go, I'm done with it. You know what? I'm coming back this later. Go and take a break, go and have a walk, go punch the bag, come back.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes we got to just give ourselves a bit of a brain break.
Yeah, absolutely.
So besides that, because you gave me so many pieces of gold here, we have a lot of very green, very new gym owners who are like, the number one thing is just getting people in the door, hoping to make it to the year point. What's a piece of advice that you would give to them?
With or without Zen Planner?
Okay. I like it. Not even a paid ad. Not a paid ad.
No. That's the bottom line. We used to run everything that we did, even though we used a Google Doc and a Google Drive, and we had a role that was all on Google Sheets. It's very manual. It's very, very labor intensive. There's so much to do. You don't have the time to do what you want to do. Like, you sit down and your bookwork is bookwork's astronomical at the best of times, and it still is. But I can punch up any student I want, look at how many lessons they've had. If there's a dispute, an argument, a complaint over fees, money, whatever, I can pull up how many lessons they've had, when they've had them, when they didn't enroll, when they did enroll, what they've missed, what they've done, how we've worked it, and I can get that so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit and go back through pages and pages and pages of information and then go, oh, what happened? It didn't get logged.
Yeah.
And it's problem after problem. Suppose if we want to go, I've had competitors hassle me to go, we've got our product, we've got this, we've got that. The Australian Taekwondo hassle me all the time. They have a platform they want me to use. Mm-hmm. And I talk about it and I say, okay, I'll talk to you about it. So payments, yep, we collect payments. I said, no, I want to use BSP. Oh, we don't do that. I said, well, you've lost your first point and you've lost. You're done. We're not even interested. We're not going there. And so many, talk to somebody else. They go, I want to integrate the YouTube channel and live stream. Oh, we don't do that. Okay, you're done. Let's end the conversation. Where there is the, I guess, temptation, me, but other people, they're cheap.
I was going to say that sometimes that leap of faith and spending money to run systems that you have been running manually can be hard until
Absolutely.
You do it, and then you realize the amount of time it gives you to run your business, to coach, to teach, to live. There's all kinds of reasons.
Absolutely. And we always used to say that the expression was cheap no good, good no cheap. That's the bottom line of it. And of course, where there's a problem for you guys, the conversion, the dollar conversion down here makes it substantially more expensive. I mean, fuels, what's petrol now?
Yeah.
$2.80 a litre or whatever. It's just ridiculously priced. So that's where we are.
I think we need a part 2.
Sure, let's do that.
I love learning about, not only do I love learning about other types of small, medium business inside of fitness, but also there are so many similarities to what you're doing over there to us here in the United States and so many differences. Maybe one day when I visit Australia, I'll have to come on over there.
Absolutely. Come to a class. That'd be great.
Before I stop recording, how do people find you? What is your Instagram handle and what's your website?
Power with Purpose. So that's, I'm thinking email. So you're doing too much.
Yeah.
It's all Power with Purpose. Facebook's Power with Purpose. Instagram, Power with Purpose. And then TikTok, I got no idea.
Power with Purpose.
Sorry. Power with Purpose or Power with Purpose Taekwondo. That's where it be.
I love the changes that you're making. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Welcome.